Kia ora from Aotearoa. It's Poppy speaking, and I'm just talking about the current ninth wave energy. And today is 7 Jaguar. And look, this is where we are, if you can see where we are. See 7 Jaguar there, just 3 to the right of the midline there. And this energy is in this day wave of 9 night, where we are like, we have the potential to really end old cycles and begin new cycles. And so this is a highly shamanic energy today. So both the night day wave is really about meditating and really meditating with nature and really tuning in with Mother Earth's will, you know, to be free of the time trap, really. And the Jaguar energy is like that shaman who just sits and meditates through the night. And I've had some meditation during the night. And, you know, we all receive our own guidance, what we need in our lives for that. So one of the revelations, well, I've been really aware of this for some time. And what I feel is quite a trap for people is this whole time trap. And a lot of people keep talking about a 5D timeline. And I want to point out that it's really an oxymoron, because actually there's nothing linear about timelessness or being in all time all at once, as I realise. And that when we do fully come into this 5D, because remember we're in all dimensions all at once, when we really start to experience that, then we are in all time all at once, and we're free of those time traps of the third and the fourth dimension. So that is where things got held in place. So, you know, I've been very unpopular with a lot of people because I've made some discoveries about history. I've been reading Dr. Carl Kellerman's book on the global mind and the evolution of consciousness, which is really helping me to see even a bigger picture of how these eras of consciousness even evolve. And, you know, like he starts off talking about pyramids, particularly the Giza pyramid, and the formation of straight lines, really. And this all happened at the start of the long count. And this long count was when the days were measured by the Maya, and they were aware and becoming more aware of the cosmic energies that came through the sun every day. Now the Maya were a real threat to the system because of the way that they saw the time-space continuum. And, you know, I've become unpopular with people because I've seen where a lot of it was hijacked and taken over and put into new forms, which kept us in a time trap and karmic looping. But it's very important, I feel, to talk about this, because we all want to get out of this time trap, don't we? And so it is about consciousness shifting and the way that we view our consciousness. And just all the sneaky CIA phrases. Now I've been MK Ultra'd. It's been part of the satanic ritual abuse process. So when now, you know, in my recovery, I actually feel quite a strong effect every time I come across a loaded phrase. And the loaded phrase that's really obvious to me is 5D timeline, because it's not a timeline at all. It's a state of being, like being in a unified field where we are in the sum of all of our experiences that have come into balance and harmony, that we resolved the trauma, and we're still doing it, but we resolve the traumas of our past, we learn all the lessons, and this is a process of evolution. And there's even higher dimensions above the 5th dimension, which a part of us is in every dimension, but our consciousness is only accessing certain parts. A lot of people are not able to get past the 3rd and 4th into that real source connection, because it is again connection with the source. So the Maya talked, and they were aware that these cosmic energies come through the sun on a daily basis, and they are natural, they're organic. There is no right and wrong, there is no good and bad. It's not polarity anymore, but rather like being in a unified field in all of time, all at once. And many of us are having those experiences, we're growing into them, and we are also having to navigate our way in this 3rd dimension. And then we also have still a lot going on from the 4th dimension, where they kind of, the black magic is done, and in the lower 4th dimension, so we can actually rise well above that. So what actually happened is that the Mayan calendar, a lot of the knowledge was stolen. It was stolen by the Romans and the Vatican. They made new systems out of it that keep people in a time loop. So the new system was very much based on astrology and gods. So the Greeks introduced gods, and we'll see that the Olympics, that's really brought that to the surface, and you can see the black magic broadcast rituals that get put in there. And this is actually satanic ritual for the whole of Earth. Everybody is now affected by satanic ritual through the regimes that were pronounced at another Olympics, through the big agenda that humanity has been embroiled in the last 4 or 5 years, in an attempt to try to gather these souls and keep them as batteries and energy sources. So it's been difficult to rise above it, and you're amazing, you're all amazing, everybody that is, and really on this journey, and really tuning in with these cosmic energies and meditating and being with nature and that return. So in nature there isn't any right or wrong, and there isn't any good or bad, and there's not the polarity that we have with the Masonic order. So it's very interesting that all the pyramids got set up at a certain time in our evolution, around the beginning of the 6th wave, and during that time our consciousness changed and became more linear as well. So and kind of bound, and then what happened is, over time, the Masonic order has taken the geometry and the polarized belief systems and religions and structures and used it for themselves. We've also had that the being Jesus Christ, who is shown through many different religions as a pure one, had the Gregorian calendar, I think also the Julian calendar, was pinned to his life, like before Christ, and anti-domino, which means after God. So interesting. But it created quite an inversion because sacrifice energy became put into our consciousness through the use of commerce and sacrifice. So the whole big deal was that sacrifice, blood sacrifice, almost seemed to have been initiated by taking the life of a man, a figure who was here to teach unconditional love and truth and show a way. Now we all have a different connection with that being, and for some of us it may be purely symbolic. Others, we may feel that. In meditations, it's always going to come across a lot differently than the historical story that we've been told. But what actually happened is that they pinned his life and everything to the black sun, or Saturn, through the god Cronus, which is chronological time. And this is where I see a time trap was really put in place in our consciousness. And people often don't realize that consciousness is held through words, through spell casting, through legislation, through colonialism, through all the things that we are having. But basically it starts more in the calendar systems which run everything. So the whole world now is run on like Greenwich Mean Time. It's spread right across the world. It's like a wetiko, and that wetiko is a cannibalistic, mind-altering being that the Native American people have often talked about, and it has been the removal of being shamanic and being connected with the earth and that unconditional love, and the usurpation of the earth and the feminine. So I feel that these points are really, really important, and they have a lot to do with actually helping us to get out of time traps and, you know, tweaking our thinking and really turning to nature, really, and the energies that come through the sun, those cosmic energies that come through the sun, through the heart of Father Sky each day, and affect our consciousness and the consciousness of Mother Earth as well. But at the same time, there's been the matrix overlay of the false time construct, which has actually bound people quite heavily into a trap. And a lot of people are now talking about the 5D, but it's still kind of attached because they're talking about it being a timeline. And there's nothing linear about being in 5D. And so if we are experiencing ourselves in 5D, we'll come to really, really see that and know that and feel our own authenticity and our own sense of love and our own protection and our own guidance. So sending you heaps of love, and I just really wanted to make this point today. It's really valid. So much love to you all.